Now, before we start the show today, here is the news.
Latest news across Scotland. This is Jambo Radio. A huge fire ripped through a Paisley tenement in the early hours of June the 29th, just days after the inferno at Linwood Industrial Estate. Emergency services, including police and firefighters, rushed to Wells Street just before 1 a.m. after reports of a derelict building up in flames. The building was vacant at the time and there were no reported injuries. Police officers have caught 3 thugs who were hiding in Woodland after a high-speed car chase during the early hours of July the 1st. Police officers from Easthouse spotted a vehicle driving dangerously at high speeds. The car failed to stop and was chased into Coatbridge. Glasgow police took over from Coatbridge police. Then the pursuit was abandoned on safety grounds. However, a short time later, the vehicle was traced after colliding at a roundabout near the Eurocentral. The 3 people were spotted running into and hiding in Woodlands. One was spotted by officers, one by the police dog and his handler, and the third by the police helicopter. All 3 suffered minor injuries from the crash. They were arrested and a probe has now been launched. Scotland is set for a rainy start to July, with downpours and winds expected across most of the country. The first half of the year has seen a record-breaking array of conditions presented. January saw Scotland record the UK hottest ever temperature for the month at 19.6 degrees Celsius at Kinlochwy in Westeros. Hospital patients are being left to die alone in hospital corridors as staffing levels have fallen so low, reports have revealed. Demoralised nurses have said they are caring for dozens of patients at a time due to the unacceptable staffing levels. The Royal College of Nursing said a survey of more than 11,000 nursing staff suggests only a third of shifts had enough registered nurses on duty. And now for African news. South Africa's President Ramaphosa has announced the formation of a new cabinet after his African National Congress party lost its parliamentary majority in May's election, stating that the government of national unity is unprecedented in the history of our democracy. The ANC will have 20 out of 32 cabinet posts, while the pro-market Democratic Alliance, until now the main opposition party, will hold 6. 6 other portfolios are shared amongst smaller parties. And that's the latest from Jambo Newsroom. I'm Andrew Biney.
Established in 2006 as one of Glasgow's original mobile massage therapists, we deliver high-quality treatments with the ambition to forge permanent relations with clientele. We specialise in on-site massage, a type of treatment that has been specifically designed to complement the convenience and availability of massage at work. It is performed with the use of a specialist mobile chair, without the use of oils or the need to remove clothing. At Massage & Glow, we believe that massage should be a part of your everyday lifestyle. Regular massage not only relieves stress and tension, but also stimulates blood circulation, can help with pain management, and promotes good mental health. A must for your busy schedule. Various holistic therapies available. Contact us now on 07530 905 152 for your mobile massage therapist.
Do you live in North Lanarkshire? Are you looking for a job? Are you looking for funding and support to start your own business? Well, if you're a parent and you live in North Lanarkshire, that's towns such as Cumbernauld, Shotts, Wishaw, Bellshill, Kilsyth, Motherwell, Coatbridge, Moodiesburn, etc., then People Plus can help you. People Plus are running the North Lanarkshire Working for Families program. At People Plus, we have brilliant employment and self-employment opportunities for parents who live in North Lanarkshire. On the Working for Families program, we support parents who live in North Lanarkshire by preparing you for employment or assisting you in starting successful self-employment. We have various accredited training courses that we can fund and put you through, and this will certainly help you in your employment journey. If you've been toying with the idea of starting a business, we'll be happy to help you start up. If you already have a business you've started, we'll be very happy to help you with funding, advice, etc. We're flexible and we will work around your schedules, as being a parent takes priority, of course. If you like a full-time or part-time job, some training, a placement, etc., we can support you, prepare you, help with your CV needs, interview prep, training needs, and job opportunities. So how do we help you with self-employment, you ask? Well, you get a dedicated and experienced business advisor to support you with a range of self-employment topics, such as marketing and pricing, business research, market research, access and finance, bookkeeping and accounting, HMRC and company registration, tax and VAT, sourcing suppliers, expert advice on efficiently reporting your earnings to HMRC, establishing or diversifying your customer base, and access to other support networks. We also help with employability by giving you a dedicated key worker who will support you and guide you through the process of finding suitable work, help with training and accreditation, customized support to suit your needs, support to write or upgrade your CV, expert advice and techniques for interviews, including mock interviews, assistance with job applications, and help with job searches. Eligibility to join the program. You must be a parent and you must live in North Lanarkshire. Just contact BB McKinley at email scotland.ef@peopleplus.co.uk. That's scotland.ef@peopleplus.co.uk, or call the number 07814 061 565. That is call or text 07814 061 565. Contact us today and we'll be happy to support you into work or self-employment.
Need security? Call Alpha One Plus Limited, a strategic security resourcing platform that connects you with licensed security personnel. We cater for our clients' security needs, from manned guarding, door supervision, event security, all the way up to close personal protection. Alpha One Plus Limited, your one-stop security solution. Call now at 44-074 2526 7909 or send us an email on info@alphaoneplus.com.
You are listening to Jambo Radio on 87.9 FM in Renfrewshire and Glasgow. Now it's time for our weekly magazine show, the BB African Magazine.
Hello, hope you enjoyed that little update in news. So here we are, another Monday, we're back and we have an amazing show planned for everybody. I'm BB McKinley, Benny Briggs McKinley, just call me BB, and this is BB's African News Magazine show. As you know, you can join us at any point during the show. You can just call the number 0141 530 2787. That's 0141 530 2787. If you have any opinions, comments, anything you want to share with us, just call us and we will be here. If you're too shy to call that, just go on social media, wherever you get social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is, leave a comment and we'll read it out live on the show. We have so much planned for you today. Baron's here, Samson's here, I'm here, we're ready to do this. Are you guys all ready?
Yes, we are.
All right, let's go. All right, we're going to start with some music. Today's music selection is amazing. So what I've done is curated a special playlist for everybody today, and it's all Yoruba songs, all old school Yoruba, and they're all love songs. So every song today is going to be a Yoruba love song, because we can have that kind of show, very smooth, very easy, and very fun. So the first song today is the oldie but goodie Olomi by Tosin Martins. I'll see you in 2 minutes.
Olomi, onítèmi, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, olólùfẹ́, ojú kan ṣàlàdání. Lọ́lọ́lúwa kò sóhun tí ó yà wá. Olómi, onítèmi, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, olólùfẹ́, ojú kan ládá torí ẹni. Lọ́lọ́lúwa kò sóhun tí ó yà wá. Mo rontodi, mo rẹ́ni kejì mi. Gírígírí ló ń ṣe mí. Got butterflies in my belly. Kòríkòsùn kò jẹ́ kó mọ̀. Ẹ má bá wí o. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ́ láyé bí àdánwò ni. Irú ọmọ tí mo fẹ́, wọ́n bẹ lára rẹ̀. Bèbí gbórúkọ mi. Ó bá ẹlẹ́wà mu, mo fẹ́ bá ẹ darúgbó, mo fẹ́ bá ẹ dalẹ̀, ìwọ ni mo fẹ́ máa jírí lójoojúmọ́ ayé mi. Olómi. found a good thing, favor from above. I got that feeling, the tender touch of love. After so long, a boyfriend want me read. Now that you're here, I see the difference so clear. You are the spark that brightens up my world. I'm gonna give this all I know to keep you as my own. Sorry, mo fẹ́ bá ẹ dàrú boy, mo fẹ́ bá ẹ dalẹ̀. Ìwọ ni mo fẹ́ máa jírí lójoojúmọ́ ayé mi.
I hope you enjoy that. I really hope you all enjoy that. A lovely start to the show. Okay, so let's get serious now. So, first topic, Scottish politics. You guys following up? Are you following up what's happened in the last 1 week?
Yep.
All right, so the SNP has lost 38 seats in the general election, which we were not expecting, but it's happened. So let's talk about it. So Labour has made dramatic gains across the central belt, with most of the results following the vote share swings of about 20% from the SNP. The Scottish Conservatives won about 5 seats, down from 6 in 2019, with the leader Douglas Ross failing to secure a controversial bid for Aberdeenshire North. First Minister John Sweeney has described the results, the SNP's worst since 2010, as very, very difficult and damaging. Speaking later on Friday, he said the party will have to rebuild trust with the people of Scotland. He added, the Scottish National Party needs to be healed, and it needs to heal its relationship with the people of Scotland. And I'm absolutely committed to doing that. I have to accept we failed to convince people of the urgency of independence in this election campaign. Therefore, we need to take time to reconsider and to reflect on how we deliver our commitment to independence, which remains absolute. The SNP was defending about 48 seats of the 57 in Scotland and won just 9. Celebrating the Scottish Labour victories, leader Anna Sauer said the country can now turn the page on 14 years of Conservative chaos and failure. In other news, Keir Starmer has promised that Scotland will be at the beating heart of his new government ahead of his meeting with John Sweeney. The new Prime Minister will visit Scotland. He visited Scotland yesterday as part of his tour of the UK nations, as he plans to meet with the First Minister in a bid to improve working relations between the two governments. The Labour leader has said his meeting with Sweeney that they can work together and turn disagreement into cooperation. Okay. Let's talk about it. So, Baron, I know you follow a little bit of this, and the SNP lost a lot of their seats. They won just 9 of the seats they were defending. They were defending 48 seats, and they won just 9. Yeah. So that's like a really big message the Scottish people are sending to SNP, saying maybe independence is not the priority right now. It's still on the list, but it's not the priority. But SNP was founded on the idea that we're fighting for independence, so they cannot just shelve that to the side and say no more independence talks. They literally, the ethos of the ethos of the party is Scottish independence, so that they will always talk about it. So people were complaining that John Sweeney focused too much on that during the campaign, and he should have been focused on maybe on the NHS and cost of living crisis and things like that. But the basis of the party is the fight for Scottish independence. So he was between a rock and a hard place, I think. Do you think going forward the people are going to maybe focus on that down the line, or do you think SNP should keep pushing that button?
Well, I think they should go back and rethink their promises and strategies. So if the people are not really buying what you're selling using Scottish independence, you have to give them something else, even though you still have the Scottish independence there, but give them more, don't just base it on the independence of Scotland. So yeah, they have to plan, come up with more to give to the people, so people realize, okay, this will have a lot more to give us, and not just the dream of Scotland being.
I think the way things are set up is like it's so hard, because Westminster will always say they're not going to entertain it. They're not going to entertain it. But then we still have to beat that drum, because if we don't beat the drum, if we don't talk about it at all, it will go away, you know, or it'll be another 20, 25 years, 30, 35 years, you know. But the idea is that we need to keep talking about it. Well, SNP needs to keep talking about it, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can talk about independence and, you know, upgrade, you know, the services that people are complaining about. Labour has come in and they're making all these promises, and we shall see, because they're basically, to me, they're conservative light. They know what are they saying that's different from what the conservatives have said, you know. But it was time for a change. I think people wanted to have a change. Labour was in a very good position at this time. A lot of trust in the SNP had been, you know, eroded because of all the mini tiny scandals, which I think were not even real scandals. I think were really blown up by the media. Yeah. But so it was time for Labour to come in and just swoop in, and then because they had such a big, you know, wind down south as well, it was time for Labour. But let's see what happens in the next couple of months. We have 2 years in Scotland before the next parliamentary election within the Scottish Parliament itself. So what's going down south does not really reflect here. Yeah. So we have in 2026 there will be, you know, a reshuffle in the Scottish Parliament. So they have 2 years to say Labour is doing this. In Scotland, SNP, are they going to grow? Are they going to build things up? Let's see what happens within the next 2 years. But down south, I think the Labour government, for them down south, that they needed that. They needed that change. Yeah. What I'm scared about is how reform, you know, took so many seats and how people are actually taking them seriously. That's scary. And
I think when it comes to for the next 2 years, that's really when they should, you know, really beat the drum about Scottish independence. For the more general elections, just focus more on the general well-being of the people and what you can do for them. And then when it comes,
there's so much we can do if we were independent. There'll be so much we can achieve on, you know, things that, because we don't always follow the same lines. For immigration, for example, we want people to come into Scotland. We need to grow our country. We need people who can do jobs. We need people. But down south, they're looking, their immigration ideas are totally different to ours. So if we were an independent country, we could actually control that immigration topic, you know? We could use the money. There's so many things we could do if we're independent, but we've allowed the media to blow it up to think, I think we're crazy people. We're just trying to be difficult, you know. It's so funny. And then when there's scandals, we don't tamp down on it and say no, this is not what happened. We kind of let things go with the flow, you know. The media, you can't allow the media just deal the narrative for you, because this is what happens. People think SNP is corrupt. People think SNP is not serious. People think SNP is not helping. You have to blow up what you've done for the people and actually show during the campaign, we did this, we did this. Don't just allow the narrative to run away from you, because you lose your seats that way, you know.
Yeah, that's right. I'm still here in Scotland, so I'm hoping I see the independence soon.
In your lifetime? Yes. Not just in your lifetime, but like, because you have what, 80 more years on Earth, in like the next 5 years. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to African politics. And a really amazing one. The people fought and they won for once in Kenya. So you heard what happened in Kenya with the financial bill?
Yeah, I did. I saw all of that.
Yeah, so Kenya's president, William Ruto, has said he will withdraw a financial bill containing controversial tax hikes after deadly protests which saw parliament set ablaze last week. In an address to the nation, he said it was clear that Kenyans want nothing to do with the bill. I concede, he said, adding that he would not sign it into law. At least 22 people were killed in the protests, according to the state-funded Kenyan Commission on Human Rights. Mr. Ruto said he would now enter into dialogue with the young people who were at the forefront of the biggest protest to hit the country since he was elected in 2022. Last Thursday, police were deployed across the capital and around State House, with many Kenyans on social media vowing to stage a march into the president's official residence. The original purpose of the demonstrations was to force the president not to sign the bill, but some protesters had began demanding that he step down as well, with the slogan "Ruto must go." The bill was passed by Parliament despite nationwide protests against it. Protesters broke into Parliament, vandalizing the interior and setting parts of the complex on fire, and the ceremonial mace was stolen. Mr. Ruto initially responded with defiance, and he ordered the military to be deployed, saying violence and anarchy would not be tolerated. But then he climbed down following an extraordinary demonstration of people power. Ruto bows to Gen Z pressure, withdraws finance bill, read the headlines on Kenyan TV. And in his second address to the nation in less than 24 hours, Mr. Ruto laid out a very clear rationale for why he thought the tax increases were necessary. However, he added that he would not sign the bill. I also lead the people, and the people have spoken. He rose to the presidency after defeating his main rival, Raila Odinga, in a narrow margin in the 2022 elections, and he portrayed himself as a hustler back then who was challenging an attempt between two dynasties, the Odingas and the Kenyatas, to hang on to power. Okay. It works. Sometimes it works. You fight the government, the people come together, young people come together and protest. They use the internet, they use themselves physically to protest, and it works. Because after the protest, he actually made some very inflammatory comments about the young people, saying that they were, violent and chaotic, and they were criminal elements and all that. And the military ran with that. Why the military will go and shoot people when they're trying to fight for you? Why the police will go into neighborhoods and shoot people when they're trying to protest for you, your benefit? Politicians are not working for you. The young people are trying to protest for your benefit. But anyway, they won.
Yep.
This time.
Yep. And I'm hoping that the Nigerians are watching as well.
No. We're too busy watching Davido and Chioma getting married and talking about Sharon Oja's wedding, my husband and his four ex-wives.
And now we are waiting for Big Brother as well. So,
God. It was happening at the same time. While they were protesting in Kenya, we were all talking about the different weddings happening in Nigeria. That's what Nigerian social media was on about. Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Things happen.
Yep, we'll see it then.
Well, congratulations to my Kenyan people. You guys fought for your rights and you won. But where they're going to get the money to pay the debt, I don't know. But taxing the people was not working. They're going to have to sit down and figure out somehow another way to get the money to pay for the debts that they were trying to use the tax bill to pay. Right. I promised you love songs in Yoruba, and I'm delivering. The next one, Koloba Koloba by Adewale Ayuba. I'll see you in 2 minutes.
Alóyinlóhùn dé wálé agbẹ́dẹ́gbẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ o sílẹ̀ bàbá wọn ká tán délẹ̀ o. Mi ò ní lọ síbi kan bàbá wọn ká tán délẹ̀ I don't care what they say. Èwo ni kólóbá torí mo fẹ́ fọ́mọ yín. Èwo ni ti warrant officer torí mo fẹ́ fọ́mọ yín. Wọ́n bí mi mo túra bí èmi gangan làbí sọ́lá mo bọ́lá jí mo jí bọ́lá mo fẹ́ sọ̀kọ́ bọ́lá ti tó. Sílẹ̀ màá bá wọn tá tán délẹ̀. Kólóbá eléré ò dá o sí ṣáàzù dá. Mo léléré ò dá o sí ṣáàzù dá. Àwọn kan bẹ nílẹ̀ yìí ojoojúmọ́ náà ń ṣọmọ wọn gbóná jù kò sí ṣáàzù lọ. Orúkọ tèléré mi la fi mọ̀ wọ́n káàkiri. Ẹ̀bẹ̀ ni mo bẹ̀ yín o. Ìdọ̀bálẹ̀ mi máa re ẹjẹ́ ń fẹ́ ìyàwó mi o. Sílẹ̀ bàbá wọn tá tán délẹ̀ o. Mi ò ní lọ síbi kan bàbá wọn tá tán délẹ̀ I don't care what they say. Èwo ni kólóbá torí mo fẹ́ fọ́mọ yín. Èwo ni ti warrant officer torí mo fẹ́ fọ́mọ yín. Wọ́n bí mi mo túra bí èmi gangan làbí sọ́lá mo bọ́lá jí mo jí bọ́lá mo fẹ́ sọ̀kọ́ bọ́lá ti tó. Sílẹ̀ màá bá wọn tá tán délẹ̀. Kólóbá. forever o. I will do what they say. Síbẹ̀, bàbá wọn ká tó délẹ̀. Mi ò ní lọ síbi kan, bàbá wọn ká tó délẹ̀. I don't care.
All right, we're back. Listen, remember you can join us at any time. 0141 530 2787. Just call. Don't be shy. Call the phone. We're here. We'll talk to you and we'll listen to what you have to say. Right. Moving on to Ghana. So, did you hear about the Ghanaian chef who was accused of faking his Guinness World Record Award? Oh my. Let's talk about now. We're going to circle back and talk about this mania. This trying to break the Guinness Book of World Records mania. But a Ghanaian chef who claimed to have broken the world record for the longest non-stop cooking by an individual has been arrested over a dispute with his sponsor. Ebenezer Smith held a press conference on Tuesday announcing that he was the new world record holder after cooking continuously for 802 hours and 25 minutes, more than a month. Wow. He presented a certificate purportedly from Guinness World Records confirming him as the record holder. But on Wednesday, a Guinness World Records spokesperson said the claims were not true and added that was not our certificate, quote unquote. In another response to a Ghanaian media outlet, Guinness World Records also explained that they were not aware of his attempt and they did not receive an application form from him. The chef was arrested by the police shortly after announcing his purported award over a dispute with his sponsor, because the Ahmadiyya Shopping Center in Accra, where he held his cooking marathon in March. They accused him of breaching a contractual agreement by not informing them about the new developments regarding the alleged confirmation of the award. Many Ghanaians have expressed shock and disappointment on social media with the case, which was widely covered when Mr. Smith claimed to have broken the record. The chef, who is still in police custody, has not been charged yet and has not commented on the accusations. His unsuccessful record attempt earlier this year attracted the support of local celebrities in Ghana, and several Ghanaians have attempted to break the Guinness World Record in recent times, including media personality and entrepreneur Afua Adwonum, who attempted the longest singing marathon last year. The current record for the longest cooking marathon by an individual is held by Ireland's Alan Fisher, 111 hours, from September to October last year. It had previously been held by Nigerian chef Hilda Baci, whose record stood at 93 hours. Her win caused a sensation in Nigeria, with people trying to get themselves into the record books by doing things like crying or singing non-stop. Okay.
Chalet.
Woo! So Ghanaians can't see green cheese. They can't see green cheese, right? If Nigerians do it, they have to do it as well. It's so funny because when the news broke, Ghanaians were preemptively dragging themselves because they knew Nigerians were going to come for them. They were like, oh God, Nigerians are going to come for us. And Nigerians didn't really come for them like that, actually, over this one.
Yeah, we are facing a lot of pressing issues.
I think we'll let them have this one, but it's crazy. 802 hours. The record holder is 119 hours. The record holder today. So how did he do 802 hours? You can't. When you want to lie, at least lie with style now. But this thing of Hilda Baci, once she did this, everybody in Nigeria wanted to break the record in some way or the other. I'm sure the Guinness Book of World Records people are tired of Nigerians, tired of West Africans in general, like
tired of receiving applications from Africa.
Once their phone rings up, no, please God, please let it not be West Africans. I'm like, once you open the gate for that, don't try us. So once somebody opens the gate, that's it, we're in. But he did. I mean, it was such a ridiculous thing for him. Even the certificate he said he got was fake. It's so unusual for Ghanaians to behave like that. I didn't think that Ghanaians were scammers like that. I thought we were I didn't know they were following in our footsteps in every way, the good and the bad.
I mean, now they are leading us. They are taking the lead.
Can you imagine?
If you can fake a Guinness, no.
It's something that's so easily verifiable. That's why if you want to do things like this, you have to do it in a way that there's some this is debatable. You can't do things that are so easily completely verifiable by Guinness Book of Records themselves. Samson, do you ever want to break any records, or have you ever thought about breaking any world records?
No, I've not actually. No.
Are you good at anything you'd like to do? Is there anything you like? Are you good at anything?
A couple of things, yeah. But I've never thought about breaking a record.
Well, do you think in future you might want to try?
Nah. Nah, because everybody's trying to do something new every day, so there's no point in me just putting myself out there.
That's not true. That's not true. There's always a point to put yourself out there. Why not? Why not? If you're
There is a point, but to get like a certificate, I know I'm good at what I'm doing, so I don't need people's approval for that.
Yeah, but then when you die, you will always be in the record books. So you'll always be remembered
There's
forever.
that.
Forever
There's
and
that.
ever and ever and ever. Once you're in the record books, you're in the record books. Unless someone breaks your record, and then.
True, but nobody really looks at the record books unless it's put out there.
But imagine like Michael Jackson, biggest selling album of all time. That's forever. That's for the next.
Yeah, that's forever. That's for
nobody's ever gonna
generations.
say- yeah, you know, things
But
like that.
Michael Jackson, does he have a Guinness though? I don't think he does.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thriller.
Oh yeah,
For Thriller.
fair enough.
So that's, and nobody's ever going to sell 40 million records ever again. Those days are gone. So
Do you think you ever want to break a record?
Maybe.
Maybe. What kind of record?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll come back at the end of the show and let you know.
All right, cool.
We'll circle back to this. All right, guys, let's move on to other nice news as well. And that's in Sierra Leone. This is great news. Baron, I need to get ready the drum roll, okay? So Sierra Leone has outlawed child marriage. Woo! Yeah, okay. So Sierra Leone has officially banned child marriage on last Tuesday, with President Julius Bayo signing into law a bill to end that practice that remains widespread in that country. Advocates hope that the new legislation will better protect girls in Sierra Leone, around a third of whom are married before they turn 18, increasing the maternal death rate due to physical risk they face from pregnancy, according to the health ministry. Under the law, any man who marries a girl under the age of 18 could face at least 15 years in prison and a fine of around $4,000. Parents or those attending such marriage ceremonies could also face fines. The U.S. Bureau of African Affairs welcomed the passage of the bill as a significant milestone that not only protects girls but promotes robust human rights protections. West and Central Africa has the highest prevalence of child marriage in the world and is home to nearly 60 million child brides, according to the UN Agency for Children, UNICEF. A 21-year-old Sierra Leonean former child bride who requested anonymity told Reuters that she was forced into marriage at the age of 14 and was considering going to court since the new law would allow her to file for an annulment. The legislation should break the cycle of early marriage and its devastating consequences, said Human Rights Watch researcher Betty Kabari. And it also sets a path forward for other African nations such as Tanzania and Zambia to revoke laws that permit child marriage. This is something that should have been put to bed a very long time ago, and I'm shocked that West Africa has the highest and Central Africa have the highest prevalence. I always thought it was going to be places like Azerbaijan or Kazakhstan or places like that where they have, you know, remote places where they really marry quite young, or places, even parts of India, parts of, you know, Asia that have the remote part, the rural parts. I always thought they were the ones who, you know, and northern Nigeria as well. But the thing that Central Africa is also guilty of this. What do you guys think about this?
I think they are actually living it a bit. I don't want to say late, but it's better late than never. And other African countries, Nigeria especially, should also learn from this.
It's because you're breaking like you heard about the news about the girls in I think it was Kogi State. Was it Kogi State? Somewhere in northern Nigeria, where their husbands some of them had been married before, some of them were young girls. They're all under 17, 16, 15, and the government did a mass marriage for them. There are about 100 of them, so that there won't be fornication, and they'll also be like, what was that the most? And then the Minister of Women Affairs, she tried to like step in and stop the marriage from happening, and they kind of like sent missiles after her, saying she has no right to step into their affairs and all of that. It was insane. And they hadn't even verified the ages of some of these girls, Rather than set them up in school, send them to school so they can do better, so they get educated, come back and put money into the state, build up the state. When you educate a young girl like that, there's so much that she can give back to the community. Rather, you want to marry them off and then start having more children and stay in poverty. The men who are making those decisions, the imams and all of them, I'm like, what are you thinking? Rather than let them learn a craft, let them learn a skill, send them to school. There's many in that group of 100 or 200 girls. There's a surgeon there, there's a doctor there, there's a lawyer, there's an engineer. There are girls who have brains among this group, who could go to school and do things and come back to that state and give back. But your first thought is to marry them off. Like, who thinks like that?
Nigerian politicians.
Not even the politicians. It was the community leaders, the imams, and all. And then, of course, the governor was like, because he has to kowtow to them, because. And if you see the people making the decisions, you wouldn't even ask them for advice on how to cross the road. Like, you see this guy on the road, you were like, you wouldn't like, no, this guy, he doesn't have any sense. Meanwhile, these are the people who are making decisions for people's lives. And these young girls, rather than build them up, you want to marry them off.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned Nigerian politicians because if the lawmakers actually make laws that make these things outlaw but try to ban them, people who are involved in it will go to jail, and then
there will be a ripple effect.
Yeah, we'll see less of that.
But
so because there's no punishment for it, people just
yeah. But she tried. The minister of Women's Affairs. She tried. She got a court injunction to stop the marriage, and to stop the marriage first, so could verify the ages of the girls, verify their genotype to make sure there's no SS, and when you're combining with these young boys, because you're doing a mass marriage.
Yeah.
And all that, and then they just went crazy. Rather than listen to what she was saying, she said she was trying to step into their affairs, and they gave her 24 hours to withdraw her statement. Eventually, she had to step it back, a little bit, and she now sent things like, sewing machines and this and that to the girls. I'm like, oh my god, when I looked at that room of youngsters, I was like, these girls should be in school. You know how when you go to school, there's always that girl who's like always, or I don't know if you went to a boys' school or a mixed school, Baron. There's always that kid who's like the smartest in the class, who comes first every term. There's always the one who's good at this or good at that. And there's, if you go to school, there's always like really, really smart ones. Yes, most of us were okay, but there were some who were like amazingly smart. In that room of youngsters who are being sent into marriage, there were girls there who I'm sure are just so super brilliant and don't have any opportunity. So the politicians, the imams, the communities, they should be building those girls up, those kids up, so that later on they become pillars of their society. Why are you thinking opposite? Marriage will come. Marriage is not going anywhere. People become doctors and get married. People become lawyers and get married. People become surgeons and get married. Why is marriage the first port of call in northern Nigeria, for God's sake?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know why they do these things. I think it has some will give the excuse of cultural excuses and religious excuses, but yeah, I can't really go into that because
no. Okay. So anyway, it's a positive show, so we're going to bring it back to positivity, and Sierra Leone has taken the first step. Yay. 18. I think 18 is still high. Just said. But that's good. 18 is good because it means you can't marry a 17-year-old or 16-year-old and all that. I could have taken it a bit higher than that, maybe 20.
It's a start.
Yeah, okay. All right. So because you need to finish uni, or at least have a craft. Finish secondary school and then have a craft, and then marry. And then and the thing is that it's not helping the young boys either, because I saw the boys in the mass marriage I was talking about who were supposed to be marrying the girls, and like they were like, nobody's forcing us, and we want to protect the girls, and they've been brainwashed as well. We want to marry the girls. Is anybody forcing us? And they were like, no. I'm like, you're young boys, go learn something, get a business, set yourself up, then marry. Marriage is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Okay, all right, positivity. Okay, let's move on. Now, we're going to have one song, and then we're going to come back and do our African travel segment, and it's such a treat this week, guys. Okay, here is Forever Sweet by Dottie the Deity. See you in a couple of minutes.
ọmọ tèmi o, my forever sweet Valentine. Ọlọ́run ọ̀run ló so wá pọ̀, lágbára Elédùmarè o, a ò ní túká ṣe o. Ta ló bá mi rọ́mọ? Bíi bèbí mi, mo ní pé ọmọ dùn ọmọ tán ọmọ fàkọyọ. Mo ní kó sọ́mọ náà, bíi dàlí mi. Ẹni sẹ́ ọmọ dùn ọmọ tán ọmọ náà pa. Ara ẹ̀ bá ń gan ni òrékè lẹ́wà. Ọmọ tèmi forever sweet Valentine. My forever sweet Valentine. Lágbára Elédùmarè ò ní túká ṣe o. Òrékè lẹ́wà, òrékè lẹ́wà. Ọmọ tèmi my forever sweet Valentine. My forever sweet Valentine. Lágbára Elédùmarè ò ní túká ṣe o. Ìfẹ́ mo ní sí ọ, ìfẹ́ ẹlẹ́yẹlé. Ìfẹ́ mo ní sí ọ, ìfẹ́ aládàbà. Bèbí wojú mi, ojú mà lọ̀rọ̀ wà o. Fọwọ́ rẹ mi nímú, mi yóò máa ní bínú o. Feels like I drink palm wine. Ó ń pa mí bí ọtí. When you wiggle and whine, my temperature dey rise. Put me under your spell, my eyes will never clear. Kiss me gently, my dear. I've been waiting for your touch on my body and my soul. Yeah. Ọmọ tèmi my forever sweet Valentine. My forever sweet Valentine. Lágbára Elédùmarè o, àní túká, àní lè pọ̀ bèbí o. Òrékè lẹ́wà, ọmọ tèmi my forever sweet Valentine. My forever sweet Valentine. Lágbára Elédùmarè o, àní túká ṣe o. Oh yes, ó yá wo baby, baby. Olójú èdè baby, ẹlẹ́yin tú ẹ̀kẹ́ baby. Òrékè lẹ́wà baby. Baby. Àpọ́nbẹ́gbò rẹ baby. Àtúmọ̀ràn dán baby. Àwẹ̀ lẹ́wà baby. Baby. Ìwọ nìkan baby. Kò sẹ́lòmíràn baby. Má ṣe gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ kan baby. Òrékè lẹ́wà, ọmọ tèmi o, my forever sweet.
Hi guys. Okay, so we're back. And now it's time for our African travel segments. What we do is every week we try to convince you to make your plans to travel within the continent, okay? Forget Spain and France and Italy and Brazil and the States and I don't know where else do people go. Asia and where do people go for their holidays? Ebar.
I have not had a holiday yet.
Right.
Where would I want to go?
Where you want to go?
France.
France, okay. Just got back from France
Or
last
Seoul,
week.
South Korea.
South, okay, that's nice.
How about North
That's
Korea?
nice. No, not North Korea. We can go. Listen, there are Nigerians all over the world, okay? So I'm sure that you find a couple in North Korea as well. Anyway, so what we do is we try to tell you every week one beautiful, amazing country within the continent to travel to. And this week we've been doing West Africa and Southern Africa a lot in the last few weeks. So this week we're going to go to North Africa and we're going to focus on Morocco. Our friends on Taropia have put together a beautiful video on the 10 best places to visit in Morocco. So let's watch together and we'll talk about it afterwards. Enjoy.
Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman may have given the world Casablanca, but there is much more to see in Morocco than its largest city. This Atlantic coast country gives travelers the opportunity to experience life in an ancient Arabic culture, sunning on beaches or snow skiing in the mountains. Whether rambling through ancient Medinas, sampling cuisine at a local souk, or relaxing in the sun at a whitewashed seaside town, the past is always present in this diverse and colorful country. Here's a look at the best places to visit in Morocco. Number 10. Lagzira Beach. Located south of Agadir, Lagzira Beach is considered Morocco's most unique beach due to the gigantic sea arches that dot the beach. They're so big that a person standing underneath one at low tide will seem like a small dot. The arches glow red at sunset, making a very picturesque scene. The beach is popular with hang gliders and parasailers, but it's also a good place to sit and enjoy the spectacular sea arches. Number 9. Casablanca. Everyone knows the city of Casablanca as the colonial setting of the 1942 romantic film, but the city of today doesn't quite reflect that dreamy, enchanting feeling. Instead, modern-day Casablanca is a trading powerhouse. The importance of the port city means it is Morocco's economic hub. You can still take a walk around Casablanca's curious old downtown to discover its past. Ornate Moorish architecture is infused with European shapes and styles. If you really want to hark back to black and white films, have drinks at Rick's Cafe, the famous bar from the film. It's a reconstruction, but we can all pretend, right? Number 8. Meknes. Meknes is one of the 4 imperial cities of Morocco, and its name and fame are closely linked to that of Sultan Moulay Ismail. The Sultan turned Meknes into an impressive city in Spanish Moorish style, surrounded by high walls with great gates. While Meknes is an imperial city with a lot of historical monuments and natural sites, it is also the nearest city to the Roman ruins of Volubilis. Number 7. Chefchaouen. Chefchaouen might just as well be called the Blue City because it's filled with, what else? Buildings in various shades of blue. Located in northwest Morocco, Chefchaouen is close to Tangier, making it a popular tourist destination. Surrounded by breathtaking mountains, the city's narrow labyrinth of lanes hide plazas and ancient kasbahs, with plenty of photo opportunities around every corner. It's popular with shoppers who can find Moroccan handicrafts such as woven blankets not found elsewhere in the country. Number 6. Asila. Now a popular seaside resort town, Asila has a glorious history that dates back to when it was a trade center for the Phoenicians in 1500 BC. In the 19th and 20th centuries, pirates used it as a base of operations. Fortifications from these bygone eras remain, surrounding the restored Medina. Whitewashed buildings complete with picturesque scenes. It has a good selection of budget hotels and restaurants and a growing art scene. About 1.5 miles south of Asila lies Paradise Beach, a wonderful wide stretch of sand popular with locals and tourists. Number 5. Essaouira. Essaouira boasts pretty, sandy beaches, but the strong winds make sunbathing out of the question. Water sports fans know the benefits of the wind, however, and meet up on Essaouira's beaches in the summer months to practice their windsurfing skills. The harbor and old city walls add a depth to the city's history, and with its small lanes and interesting streets, make for the perfect place to get lost and discover new and interesting secrets hidden among the walls. Number 4. Fez. Once the capital of Morocco, Fez exudes culture and history. Its emblematic Medina is a huge pedestrianized sprawl that oozes ambiance and history. It can seem completely overwhelming to many visitors, whilst others fall in love with the ebullient atmosphere. Those who are brave enough to wander down the narrow alleys can discover the city's 2 Islamic schools. Dating back to the 14th century, both madrasa have intricate faces, carved from cedar, as well as elaborate tiles. The 11th century Tuwara tannery is one of the oldest in the world and has been making leathers for traders for many generations. Make sure to look out for it in the bustling marketplace. Number 3. High Atlas. The High Atlas is a mountain range that runs from the coast of Morocco toward Algeria. The tallest mountain range in North Africa, the High Atlas offers outdoor recreation opportunities year-round, from snow sports in the winter to hiking in the summer. One of the best places to visit is the Todra Gorge in the eastern part of the High Atlas. Both the Todra and the neighboring Dades rivers have carved out steep cliffside canyons through the mountains. On the edge of the High Atlas Mountains is the Ait Benedou, a traditional mud brick city that has appeared in many movies, including Lawrence of Arabia and Gladiator. Number 2. Merzouga. Merzouga is a small village in southeastern Morocco, not too far from the border with Algeria. It's on the tourist route because of its proximity to Erg Chebi, sand dunes created by winds that reach up to 500 feet high. Travelers looking for a unique experience might want to take an overnight camel ride through the wavy, deep reddish-orange dunes. Most group tours end up at a pre-set-up camp at the base of some very large dunes, where the various tour operators have their Berber tents set up. Dinner will be cooked here, perhaps some music played, and visitors can frolic on the sand dunes under zillions of stars. Number 1. Marrakesh. Formerly one of the country's imperial cities, Marrakesh is sometimes referred to as the Red City because of its sandstone buildings. During the 1960s, Marrakesh was known as a hippie mecca, attracting famous celebrities such as the Beatles, Yves Saint Laurent, and the Rolling Stones. Comprised of beautiful old architecture and courtyards of orange, palm, apricot, and olive trees, Marrakesh today is still one of Africa's most popular tourist destinations. The best way to sample its charm is to take off walking through the Medina, watch a snake charmer, haggle over an old carpet, eat local delicacies such as sheep's head, or have a massage in a public bath. Other possibilities include strolling through the Jardin Majorelle, a botanical garden that blends Art Deco and Moorish features, and sipping mint tea at a traditional tea house.
Right, that was Morocco. So what do you guys think? Real quick.
Yeah, it's good. And I picked the place already, so it has to be Casablanca, so I can tell people that I went to Casablanca. All of that. well, quick one. Yeah, I used to think that I'll go to Madagascar because of the PR you got from
the movie.
Yes. Until I actually did my research and I said that
it's not a bad place. It's not a bad place. It's just where you go. Like with anything, is where you go, right?
Yeah. And again, you have to seek advice from the locals,
from locals and all that.
As well before you could travel. So, yeah.
I think for me, if I was going to go that part of Africa, it would be like Mauritius or Seychelles. Those are like we're gonna do a travel on Mauritius or Seychelles. That's you guys will really see what it is to be a tourist place in Africa. Now those are the real tourist places in Africa. Samson, what about you?
I would like to go to Lexera Beach.
Okay, yes, it's for the arches, right?
Yeah, just like
cool.
It looks like a place where if you're like tired or just want to chill, you could just go there and sit down and listen to the waves. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Just sit down and listen to the waves. Yeah. Have a quiet Samson time. Just sitting there.
Sorry, Samson. You could do some surfing as well.
I could do that when I learn it.
I think they teach. There's some beaches in North Africa where they actually teach you how to surf and all of that. And there's a surfing school in Lagos as well. You know, Takwa Bay. There's a guy there who teaches surfing as well.
Is it safe?
Yeah, of course. What do you mean safe? For the waves or the guy himself?
Like the waves and everything. Mr. Barrow, would you want to surf?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll try.
I would love to. I was going to take my kids there the last time we were in Lagos last year. But there's so many things happening. It was one thing that fell off the list. But I'd actually called him and set up, the surfing lessons and all that. Because he'll teach you and then he'll take you out as well. So next time we're in Lagos, for sure, we're going surfing.
when I'm in Morocco, I'll try and learn.
Yeah.
Morocco is just a few hours from here, so it's not.
Few hours? That's in Africa.
Yeah, a couple of hours, hop, skip, and a jump. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, really?
North Africa is not that far away from Europe. It's really close. Really close.
North Africa.
Yeah, because you don't have to cross the Sahara for 3 hours to get to West Africa. You can just do it really quickly. I think about 3 hours or so you should be there. All right, we're closing up part 1. I was going to do sparring with the boys, which I will do on the top of either at the top of the next hour or the bottom of the next hour, but we will come back to that. For now, we have much more planned for everybody in part 2, BB's African News Magazine show on Jambo Radio. Just sit back, relax, listen to the next song, and meet us in part 2. This is the end of part 1, and we're going to close out with the classic from Davido, the newly married Davido, and this is Aye.
Somebody, they say love is blind, but I did see her for your eyes, for your eyes, She found past that ego, she did do like Ronaldo, my city porero, Eminado. She like my song, her favorite artist is not Davido. I like what I see. Baby girl, just come balance on me, hey. Cause nobody can love you like I do. Nobody can touch you like I do. Nobody can love you like I do. Nobody can touch you like I do. Cause you want my love, cause you want my love. She no one designer, she no one Ferrari. She said I'm my love. You belong to me and I belong to her.
but I did see her for your eyes, for your eyes, They say love is blind, but I did see her for your eyes, for your eyes, The baddest, baby girl, you the baddest. Oh yeah, shake your assets, make him man no go forget. Emergency, baby you cause emergency, baby you lose your majesty, baby you my elegance. Oh yeah, dress on and dance, oh yeah, let go and dance, oh yeah, let go and dance, oh yeah, dress on and dance. 'Cause nobody can love you like I do, nobody can touch you like I do, nobody can love you like I do, nobody can touch you like I do. She no one designer, she no one Ferrari. She said I'm my lover. You belong to me and I belong to her. Oh baby, you go killing somebody.
Welcome back to BB's African News Magazine Show on Jambo Radio. I am BB of BB's Magazine Show on Jambo Radio. This is part 2. Yes, we've done a full hour and we've had a wonderful time. We're just sailing through all the topics. We had news, we've had politics, we've had everything in between, and we have amazing music. This week, all our music is all Yoruba love songs, so, relax and enjoy those as well. Before we do the African Spotlight, I was going to just ask the boys a question, because I wanted to ask this on Inspiring the Boys for a few weeks now. So, if you guys turn 40 and you've achieved everything you're going to ever achieve in all spheres of life, what happens next? Because I was thinking about this the other day. David Beckham, he turned 40 a few years ago. And by the time he turned 40, he had achieved everything career-wise. He had reached the top of his career. He had money, lots and lots of money. He was healthy. He was handsome. He had a wife and 4 children. So he had done the family thing. So he had money, career, broken records, had a family, had children, everything, and he was still physically very nice looking and everything. So then what happens? What next? Or Usain Bolt, for example, since it's an African show. By the time he'd reached 40, it's not even 40 yet, is he? He had achieved everything he's going to achieve career-wise. There's nothing else, no record he can break career-wise, and the career he chose anyway. And he has a family, he has children, he's achieved everything, he has money in the bank, he's physically very fit, and all of that. So if you guys, that happens for you at 40, what happens next? I'm very curious, because people we live in hope, right, for what's next, and we're going to achieve our dreams, and we keep hope alive and all of that. There's always something else to achieve. Let's say you have the career, you've not got the family. You have the family, you've not got the career level you want to. But what happens if you're still young when you've achieved both the career and the family? What next?
I would find a hobby.
A hobby for the next 40 years.
Yeah, find a hobby. Go play golf for
the next 40 years.
Don't be pro golfer, but seriously, travel, find a hobby, just do what makes you happy, I guess. Yeah.
It's a long time to look, like I said, we keep hope alive, right? Mm-hmm. There's always something to achieve next. I want to have a child, I want to get married, I want to have this career. But if you've done it already and you still have another 40, 50 years ahead of you, then what? Samson, what about you?
For me, I would say if I'm 40 and I've achieved all of that, and let's say I was 20, this is 20 years afterwards, I would try to do the things I couldn't do in those 20 years beforehand. I don't know, anything else. Let's say if I were to study media at the moment and it's taking me that much, and there's something else I want to do, after the 20 years I can maybe go into fashion.
Okay, so you're like a second career.
Yeah, something like that. Or I wouldn't just be at home. I wouldn't be idle.
No, because that will make you sick. You can be idle for like a year or two.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But then after that, then what? I'm just thinking the mindset, mindset, because we're all living to achieve something. But once you've done it, like the big one, and you've done it all, but you did it on time, then what? I think it's a bit scary to be in that position.
I also agree with Byron as well. Point where I'm just like, I need to find a hobby, do something that, because at this point I'm 40, I need to look after my kids, I need to spend time with my kids. I need to find something, something that will keep me busy while they're not home.
Yeah, there are lots of things you could do.
I don't know. I think it's a scary place to be, because like things that happen in stages makes you feel like, okay, shit, then the next, then the next, then the next, But if you've done it, like you've reached the pinnacle. I'm talking about people who have reached the pinnacle. Like there's nothing more. Like for Usain Bolt, for example, there's nowhere to go. You've reached the top. Michael Phelps, that's another one. He broke all his records, and I think he was just in his 30s, and he's married. It's not like you're thinking, you've done it. You've done the big things, of life. Things that take people 50, 60, 70 years to do. You've done it at 35 or at 40. Yeah. Where do you go from there? It's always fascinated me, that question.
I think Usain Bolt actually tried being a pro footballer.
Yeah, it didn't work.
and then this Nigerian footballer as well, Peter Odemwingie, has now switched to pro golf.
Really?
Well. Yeah, so,
even
he's in his 40s.
Michael Jordan as well. He
tried to do golfing. It didn't work. He tried to do baseball. It didn't work.
Who, Michael? Yeah.
He did baseball.
I've seen a couple of pictures with him doing golf.
No, golf was like fun, but he tried to do professional baseball.
Oh, really? I know.
For a season, and then they were like, no, this is not your thing.
I mean, if you're wealthy already, just switch to the rich man's sport.
Golf, right? Yeah. It's just maybe go into politics, maybe. Yeah, a lot of them. Like what's the president of Senegal?
Oh yeah.
Politics, didn't he? Or I don't know. It's just it's not about just having a second career. It's the fact that you reach the pinnacle in that first career.
What would you do? What would you like to do?
If I've passed 40, so it doesn't.
Let's say you've not reached 40 yet, and you've you've achieved everything.
Let's dream.
For me, it's all going to be more political wise or media wise. It's always going to be in that. So there's always more to do in the spheres I'm in. I believe. But I'm talking about if you have things that like there's a cap to it, and you've reached that cap. It fascinates me. If you've achieved all your life's goals at a young age. I don't know. It's scary. It's a scary concept to me. It's a scary concept to me.
Well, for me, it's not. It feels like you have more time to spend with family and travel. Yeah, but still. Yeah.
Because human, right? We live to achieve. We live to achieve, not for leisure. Anyway, let's move on. So, African Spotlight this week. So every week, we focus on a good news story or interesting story from the diaspora or from the continent on people doing amazing things in the community. And this week, we are shining our spotlight on an incredible initiative taking place in Zimbabwe. You guys are going to love this story. So, the Friendship Bench Initiative was founded by Dixon Chibanda, a psychiatry professor in Zimbabwe. So let's hear all about the grannies on the friendship benches, help with mental health in that country. So after her son and family's only breadwinner was arrested last year, 57-year-old Tambuzai Tembo went into a meltdown. In Zimbabwe, where clinical mental services are scarce, her chances of getting professional help were next to zero, and she contemplated suicide. A wooden bench and an empathetic grandmother saved her. Older people are at the center of a homegrown form of mental health therapy in Zimbabwe, which is now being adopted in places like the United States. The approach involves setting up benches in quiet, discreet corners of the community, in clinics, in some churches, in poor neighborhoods, and even at a university. An older woman with basic training in problem-solving therapy patiently sits there, ready to listen and engage in one-on-one conversation. The therapy is inspired by traditional practices in Zimbabwe, in which grandmothers were the go-to for wisdom in rough times. It had been abandoned with urbanization and modern technology, but now is proving useful again as mental health needs grow. Grandmothers are the custodians of local culture and wisdom. They are rooted in their communities, says founder Professor Chibanda. They don't leave, and in addition, they have an amazing ability to use what we call expressed empathy to make people feel respected and understood. Last year, Professor Chibanda was named the winner of a $150,000 prize by the US-based McNaughton Foundation for revolutionizing mental health care. He said the concept had taken roots in parts of Vietnam, Botswana, Malawi, Kenya, Tanzania, and is in preliminary formative work in London. In New York, the city's new mental health plan launched last year says it's drawing inspiration from the Friendship Bench to help address risk factors in that city. So orange benches can now be found in areas including Harlem, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. And in Washington, the organization Help Age UK is also piloting their own version of the Friendship Bench initiative. So far, 20 grandmothers determined to stop the stigma around mental health have been, trained by a team from Zimbabwe in Washington. That's incredible. So Chimbane's idea was born out of tragedy, however. In 2005, he was a young psychiatrist and just one of over just 10 in Zimbabwe. And one of his patients desperately needed to see him but couldn't afford the $15 bus fare, and she later took her own life. He's recruited 14 grandmothers in the neighborhood of his client, where his client took her life, and trained them. And they get $25 a month to help with transport and phone bills, okay? And last year in 2023, over 200,000 Zimbabweans sat on a bench to get therapy from a trained grandmother and help them with their mental health needs. Is that not the most amazing thing?
It is.
It's such a simple idea, but it makes sense. So you don't just put them on the bench and say go. They actually train them a little. They give them some training, some therapy training, and then they use the fact that they're grandmothers and empathetic, and they have this training, and anybody can just walk up and start talking to them.
Yeah, and I hope they're getting paid as well.
I think they pay them for transport and phone bills and all that. Okay. I don't think they have a salary, but they give them expenses. But it's just so the fact. But why do you think mental health needs are grown so much? That's a big question. I know that's a big question.
Yeah, people don't take it seriously, or some people don't even realize when they need therapy. I can say as a Nigerian that most times we don't feel the need for it because
we're hustling all
Nigerian,
the time.
So we've probably seen the worst of the world. So, but still people still need it.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you can have something in your church or in your university, in your community, and just go and sit down and have a talk. And the fact that over 200,000 people used this service in Zimbabwe last year shows that it's working and there's a need.
Yeah, and again is the elderly. So you're prone to get advice or to receive advice from someone that is much more older and then has that experience and can give you real life examples compared to someone
or just listen.
Compared to someone that roughly around the same age bracket that is telling you things.
Probably. But age just anyway. Because I've seen some people of a certain age giving advice on social media, and I'm just like, how did you get to this age and still be so dumb? Anyway, and the fact that it's being used, it's such a good concept. It's being used in Vietnam, in Botswana, in New York, in London, in Washington, and they're training. The Zimbabweans are actually training the Americans on how to use. Usually the other way around, isn't it? They're trying to export their training to us, and now we're exporting our training to them. That's pretty brilliant as well.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if the same idea of the grandmother concept will work in the West the way it will work in Africa. I don't know.
Probably not, because it depends on the culture. So there's lots of respect for the
elders in Africa. Yeah. But I think maybe you have like the Italian grandmother. It comes with the Italian grandmother, the Jewish grandmother, or the Mexican grandmother. I think that might work. Something more ethnic but your regular standard, American grandmother. I'm not sure if it will work the same way.
I mean, how lots of people grow in the West without knowing their grandparents. So
no, they don't have the same respect for age that we do. Okay, so questions for the week, all right? With mental health issues on the rise globally, perhaps this initiative should be worldwide, should be actually worldwide, not just in certain countries, but all over the world. What do you think, listeners? And number 2, should we diversify? Why only grandmothers on the bench? Why not sisters on the bench, uncles on the bench, granddads on the bench? Do we only respect grandmothers?
Pastors on the bench.
No pastors on the bench. Banned. No pastors on the bench. So what do you guys think? Should the idea be diversified? Should be, people you're close to, the idea, not your own sisters, but sisters on the bench, uncles, granddads on the bench? Or should we just stick only to grandmothers, number one? And of course, the first question was, should this initiative be worldwide, because it's such a good idea and mental health needs are on the rise globally? So if you want to answer any of the questions or add anything to the conversation, just call 0141 530 2787. Samson, keep checking that Facebook page in case there are any comments, and we will read them out on the air. So join us in the conversation. And while we're waiting for your calls, here is Perfect Gentleman by Sean Tizzle.
Shanti, ọ̀rẹ́ já ló ń jẹ mí, bí tí ń gbé. Ọ̀rẹ́ já ló ń jẹ mí, ọ̀rẹ́ já ló ń jẹ mí, ìfẹ́ já ló ń jẹ mí. Let me be a perfect gentleman. Let me be the man to always hold you down. Would you be the one for me? Oh, be more. Why you're mine? I'm on that, I'm on you. I'm on Didi, no Muale. I'm on that, I'm on you. I'm on Didi, no Muale. I'm a Kole Male, I'm a Bimale Mom. I'm the Suku Wako, I'm the Suku Waya. I'm a Kole Male, I'm a Bimale Mom. I'm the Suku Wako. Let me be your man till the end of time. Let me take you by the hand, work you down the aisle. Let me kiss your lips before we sleep for night. Ooh, baby, come with me 1,000 miles. If ever I go to she likes me, I like her too. She call me baby, I call her boo. There is no losing me. Let me be a perfect gentleman. Let me be the man to always hold you down. Would you be the one for me? Oh, be more. Why you're mine? I'm on that, I'm on you. I'm on Didi, no Muale. I'm on that, I'm on you. I'm on Didi, no Muale. I'm a Kole Male, I'm a Bimale Mom. I'm the Suku Wako, I'm the Suku Waya. I'm a Kole Male, I'm a Bimale Mom. I'm the Suku Wako, I'm the Suku Waya.
Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that song. That was Perfect Gentleman by Sean Tizzle. And we were just talking about the grandmothers on the bench and the friendship initiative in Zimbabwe, where grandmothers are recruited, given some basic training, and then put on benches throughout the community to talk to people one-on-one about their mental health needs, if they have any problems, and just have a listening ear, give advice and all of that, trying to cultivate that old school feeling when you went to your grandmothers or the older people in the community when you had problems, and they would give you advice. So they've put that all over the country, and it's working. 200 people, over 200,000 people last year in Zimbabwe were, used the service, and it's been exported to all parts of the world. So the questions for the week were, it's such a fantastic initiative, and it's working in Zimbabwe. Should it not be worldwide? And also, should we diversify the idea, not just grandmothers, but sisters, uncles, people who you respect or who you've traditionally gone to in times of need, should be diversified, or should we just keep the idea as grandmothers, on the bench? So like I said, if you had any contributions, just call the station 0141 530 2787 and just give your opinion on everything. All right. In the meantime, we're going to talk about have an announcement from People Plus. They are doing the Working for Families program in North Lanarkshire. So if you live in Scotland and you live in North Lanarkshire and you're a parent, if you're looking for a job or if you're looking to start a business, People Plus can help you. So if you live in Cumbernauld, Shotts, Wishaw, Bellshill, Kilsyth, Motherwell, Airdrie, Gatcorsh, Coatbridge, Steps, Croy, Moodiesburn, all those areas in North Lanarkshire. And if you happen to be a parent as well, People Plus can definitely help you, either help you find a job, help train you up, or help start a business. They can help you with funding, help you with a business advisor to help you register the business, your taxes, all of that. So if you are looking to start a business or you're looking to find a job, you live in North Lanarkshire and you're a parent, contact People Plus, Working for Families, and they will help you. So the email address is scotland.ef@peopleplus.co.uk. That is scotland.ef@peopleplus.co.uk, or the phone number to call is 07 814 061 565. Once again, that's 07 814 061 565, or just contact Jambo Radio, send us an email, and we will send the message to People Plus. All right, okay, moving on. Now it's time for our Have You Heard segment. You're going to love this one again. Every week we share an interesting development story or event from the diaspora. And this week we are asking, have you heard about Mercy Ships and the incredible work they do? And also we're talking about Romina, a little boy who was given life-saving surgery by them and returned years later. Before I start, Baron, Samson, have you guys ever heard of Mercy Ships?
No.
No?
We've not.
Oh, wow. I'm going to tell all about it. You're going to love it. So, a boy who had his legs straightened by a health charity 10 years ago has been back on board the ship that transformed his life as he returned to his home country to offer more free life-saving surgeries. Romino, now 12, was just a toddler when his legs started to bow. His parents saw he was struggling to walk, and they knew they could not get him the surgery he needed in their home country of Madagascar. Tilos, as is fondly called by those close to him, can walk today and can run effortlessly on his straight legs after the surgery he received at age 3 changed his future. He said, I remember when Mercy Ships taught me to walk again and when they picked us up at our house. His mother recalled the first time she noticed that something was wrong with her son's legs. She said he didn't have bow legs when he was born, but his legs started to bow when he was about 2.5 years old. She sought help from a traditional doctor who recommended leg massages as a cure. However, she heard that Mercy Ships would come to her country and decided to go to them as they would provide free surgical care for her child. Tilos now says he wins most running races against his friends and he wants to become a doctor like those who changed his life. He said, I want to give people the same healing that I received. Mercy Ships is docked off right now off the port of Tomasina, where Romano went aboard, and it delivers more than 1,000 new surgeries and training to in-country medical professionals every year. This marks Mercy Ships' 4th field service in Madagascar, following previous visits in 1996, 2015, and 2016. Over the course of previous visits, Mercy Ships collaborated with the government and Ministry of Health to provide more than 6,500 life-changing surgical procedures and over 52,000 dental procedures. In addition to these surgeries, Mercy Ships has a long-standing commitment to education and have trained over 2,000 healthcare professionals in the past. Mercy Ships were founded in 1978 and have offices in 16 countries, as well as an Africa Service Center in Dakar, Senegal. They operate hospital ships that deliver free surgeries and other healthcare services to those with little access to safe medical care. They are an international faith-based organization and are focused on partnering with African nations for the past 3 decades. And every year, more than 3,000 volunteer professionals from over 60 countries serve on board the 2 largest non-governmental hospital ships, the African Mercy and the Global Mercy. So professionals such as surgeons, dentists, nurses, health trainers, cooks, engineers, all dedicate their time and skills to accelerate access to safe surgical, obstetric, and anesthetic care. Okay? If you want to learn more about Mercy Ships, just visit them at mercyships.org or go on their social media at Mercy Ships. I think this is so fascinating because if you go, guys, on their social media and you see the changes in the children, the befores and the afters, this ships just dock. So they dock in the city, and then you can go on board. If you're chosen, you can go on board and get your surgery done right there on board. So you have kids with cleft palates, you have kids with leg injuries or anything, and you can go and get surgeons to actually operate on you and give you the aftercare you need as well, and basically change the trajectory of your life. This is the kind of charity I like to see. This kind,
Yeah. So it's. I didn't even know about this one until
if you see their social media, your mind will be blown because the befores and the afters are just incredible. And these kids just walk, and there's proper top of the line, state of the art surgery going on these ships. And they go to they dock at different countries. I don't know if they come to Nigeria. I've never seen it in Nigeria, but I know they go to Senegal, to Madagascar, to other parts of West Africa. I've seen them. I've seen all the pictures and all of that. But it's just pretty incredible the work they do every year, and they've been doing it for 30 years. It's incredible.
So how did they get funding?
They're a faith-based organization, so obviously they raise funds back home, and then the volunteers, the doctors and the surgeons and the nurses all volunteer their time. So you see, I'm going to volunteer 2 months of my time, for example. I'm going to go on the ship. They live on the ship, and then the ship, so they go for 2 months and then come back and all of that. So they're charity funded. But so the surgeries are all free. All the care is free. And it's amazing. I'm talking real surgery. I'm not talking about, to just put a surgery proper, like to close a hole in the heart, or to break your legs and straighten them and then, set them, and then to, every type of surgery you can imagine is being done on the ships. This is real. This is what you see, what you think charity should do to change lives, not just give food and give this real life-changing, life-saving,
It's amazing. Those are the real heroes.
Yes, they are. And the wee boy has come back. He was 3 when he got his surgery, and he's come back and said he wants to be a doctor. He wants to be a surgeon in the future, so he can do the same. That's so cute. Yeah. All right, so we're going to play Ijo Fuji because that's dancing. And Romilo would not have been able to dance properly if he hadn't had his surgery. But now, with his new legs, he can dance. So here's Ijo Fuji by Adewale Ayuba. Enjoy.
Respect my sisters, respect my parents, Moki. Respect to the elders, Aki.
bẹ́lábáyé kẹyọ́nú sí wa o. Respect, respect my parents, mo kí yín o. Respect, respect to the elders, a kí yín. Bójú bójú o. Bójú bójú o. Òṣùpá ń bọ̀ o. Ṣé kí n ṣí ẹni tó lóró bá mú o. Á bàjẹ́. Ó ń rọ̀jò ọba kọrin ló ń rọ̀jò ẹni bá láyà ẹ̀gbin kó ká lọ. Torójú àgbà mi ládé olóbèlè òbèlè. Ọlọ́mọge tó ń sá fúnjó ó yá bọ́ sí gbangba kójó fújì ó dàmọ̀ wálé ló ń bọ̀. Ó dàmọ̀ òṣùpá ló ń dún òmùgún ló ń gbé lẹ́fọ́ má fi jó ṣeré ya bọ́ síta o. Ó yá má fi jó ṣeré ya bọ́ síta. Ladies and gents ẹjọ́ 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 ẹjọ́. Brothers sisters ó yá o. Ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. Your miss your peace ó yá o. Ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. Daddy and mommy ó yá o. Ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. Adéwálé Ayùbá ló ń dún o. Ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. Ọmọ tàlí mọ́ ṣáàkìyà lẹ́ ń gbọ́ o. Ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. Pulsewave vibrations ló ń kọrin. Ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. Adéwálé Ayùbá ló ń bọ̀ o. Ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. Ladies and gents ẹjọ́ 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 ẹjọ́. Àníjó fújì lárinrin ẹ lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ kẹ́ máa rà á. Ẹ lè wá upstanding kẹ́ máa jó. Mo níjó fújì lárinrin. Ẹ lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ kẹ́ máa rà á. Ẹ lè wá upstanding kẹ́ máa jó. Orí takata gbọ́ tó tẹ́wọ́ jó. Tínágò gbọ́ tó tẹ́wọ́ jó. Bìtì kó gbọ́ ó tẹ́wọ́ jó. Ìta ló gbọ́ wọ́n tẹ́wọ́ jó. Nàìjà gbọ́ wọ́n tẹ́wọ́ jó. Wọ́n láwọn ò lọ́nà méjì o. Àfijó fújì rẹpẹtẹ.
All right, okay. So we're like, we could go on with this because Fuji songs go on for days, like weeks at a time. So we could have been here for all day and we've all been dancing here. Hope you enjoy that. That was Ichu Fuji by Adewale Ayuba. Now it's time. I hope Baron is ready. I really hope he is. Right, because I've been timing him every week. So it's time for a moment in African history. He got it this time. Right, guys, every week, of course, we have our wonderful, wonderful history segment. This week, fascinating. I cannot wait to talk about with everybody. Just get ready for the story. It's a slice of history still going. Not only is it historical, it's still going. And this week, we're going to be talking about the fascinating history of and the genetics of the Cape Collards of South Africa. Because Tyler opened this box. And so we're going to go into this box and talk about it, okay? So what we're going to do, we partnered with our friend, history buff, Massaman, and he's going to be talking about the history of the Cape Collards in a video. So we're all going to watch the video, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. Does that work for you guys? All right, let's do it. So here is The Fascinating History and Genetics of the Cape Collards of South Africa by Massaman. Let's go.
Back when the east coast of colonial America had only a paltry population of 50,000 British settlers, on the other side of the planet, the Dutch were turning their sights on a new colonial ambition. That was South Africa. As was standard procedure in that era, the Dutch explorers that arrived on this never-before-explored region of the so-called Dark Continent did not bring their wives and families with them. Doing so would be foolish, of course, with the colonists not knowing what kind of death or danger could await them in this newly discovered territory. Soon after first contact with the native Khoisan people of the region, the progression of colonialism and subjugation commenced. The Dutch, not having brought their families on the 6,000-mile journey that could take up to 2 months of travel in those days, had then decided to mingle with the native peoples of the Cape of Good Hope, creating the beginnings of a pristine racial group that now makes up around 9% of the current population of South Africa at around 5 million people. In contemporary South African society, this group is known as the Cape Collards, and they're probably one of the most interesting groups of humans that I've ever heard of. They've frequently been called the most diverse ethnic group in the world. That is, if you could even call them an ethnic group. I would just like to point out that I do have respect for every single people group in the world and treat everyone equally, regardless of race, but I do have a special place in my heart for ethnic groups of multiracial descent, for obvious reasons. And the Cape Collards are probably the most multiracial group of people on the planet. As stated previously, the Cape Collards first came into existence in the late 1600s as a result of contact between mostly Khoisan women and European, almost entirely Dutch, men. But that's not the only groups that they're mixed with. The Dutch also had Bantu groups like the Zulu and Xhosa imported into the Cape, and further intermingling commenced. The Cape Collards had a separate status from pure-blooded Europeans, and were considered a lower class. However, much like the Mestizos, a mixed group of Spanish and Native American heritage in early Latin America, they were given preferential treatment over the native Khoisan and Bantu peoples, and even early Asian immigrants brought into the region. The Cape Collards also infrequently mixed with the Afrikaners of South Africa, so today about 7% of Afrikaner DNA is actually from a non-European source. It was also common for Afrikaners that had been in the region for a long time to have distant ancestry from Asia and Africa, since many early Dutch explorers brought Indian and Southeast Asian women with them for relations, with many South African politicians having such admixture, although it would be impossible to tell just by looking at them. Ironically, or perhaps coincidentally, F.W. de Klerk, the Afrikaner politician most famous for abolishing apartheid in South Africa, was well aware of his distant Khoisan and Indian ancestry. The genetic makeup of Cape Collards varies extremely, as can be seen in this graph, which shows that the percentage of African ancestry that can be found vary from nearly 80% to only 20% in the lightest of colors. But on average, the Cape Collards are about 36% European, 31% Khoisan, 17% Bantu, 8% Indian, and about 8% East Asian or Southeast Asian. Also, it does depend on where the Collards are from. For instance, Collards from the Cape would probably have more Khoisan ancestry, while a Collard from Durban in KwaZulu-Natal would probably have more Indian and Bantu ancestry. The maternal ancestry of the Collards, meaning DNA passed down by the females, is mostly Khoisan, while the paternal DNA is overwhelmingly European in origin. Now, although the label Cape Collared is used almost exclusively for people descended from that first group of Dutch settlers and Khoisan natives, in today's South Africa, a colored person could be anyone that is of multiracial ancestry, with interracial marriage actually being at an all-time high. So because of this loosely defined definitions, coloreds can vary wildly in appearance since they have DNA from so many diverse groups of humans, and technically someone such as myself, who only has about 25% African DNA, could technically be considered colored if I were to go to South Africa, although I'm not sure how strict their laws are on racial identification. I'm guessing it's just whatever you self-describe as on the census. So before the end of apartheid, colored South Africans were segregated away from the whites, which had an unintended side effect of creating vast sprawls in the city of Cape Town that are populated virtually entirely by the Cape Coloreds. Although there is no longer any legal segregation by race in South Africa, these areas are unfortunately extremely overcrowded and decrepit in most cases, and are populated by poor colored families. This toxic environment has led to the rise of drug smuggling, prostitution, and new South African gangs. But not all Cape Coloreds live in cramped living spaces in the outer slums of Cape Town. Almost the entirety of the province of Western Cape, along with most of Northern Cape and parts of Eastern Cape, are also inhabited by the Cape Coloreds. So relative to their population, the Cape Coloreds inhabit a rather large swath of land, formerly inhabited by Khoisan hunters known as Bushmen, and the Coloreds now universally speak Afrikaans, often with their own accent that makes it a little difficult for the Afrikaners to understand them. Now, there is a subgroup of Coloreds in Cape Town known as the Cape Malays, who actually aren't really Malaysian at all. They're another multiracial group descended from mostly Indonesian traders, along with input from India, Africa, and Europe. Their genetic makeup is about 42% Asian, 40% African, and 18% European. And they're one of the only ethnic groups in South Africa that actually overwhelmingly practices Islam, and they frequently write in the Arabic script because of their religion. Nearby in the region, outside of South Africa, there are actually a group of colored people with similar history to those from the Cape. The Rehoboth Basters, also known as just the Basters or the Rehobothers, are a mixed-race ethnic group from neighboring Namibia who are descended from Afrikaner men who had children with a group of Khoisan women after trekking to northern Namibia in the 1700s. They currently number about 40 to 50,000 people, or about 2 to 3% of Namibia's population. Their name, Baster, comes from the Dutch bastard because the original Rehobothers were considered bastards since they were born illegitimately and were considered half-breeds. The Basters to this day do not consider this to be derogatory or demeaning and claim the name of Rehoboth Basters with pride. Their DNA consists of about 48% European, 38% Khoisan, 9% Bantu, and 5% Asian. The Gaufo people are yet another mixed-race ethnic group composed of either English or Afrikaner paternal ancestry and Shona or other Bantu maternal ancestry. They reside in the former British protectorate of the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland, which dissolved into the current independent states of Malawi, Zambia, and good old Zimbabwe. They probably make up around 100,000 people currently, yet many have fled because of the increasingly racist and xenophobic atmosphere and policies enacted by Zimbabwean dictator, President Robert Mugabe. As opposed to the Cape Coloreds of South Africa, or the Rehoboth Basters of Namibia, most Gaufos of the former Rhodesia live in urban areas, most of the time in gated communities next to whites or Asians. So the colored people groups of Southern Africa are extremely diverse, not at all being a homogeneous ethnic group like the census would imply. They can have ancestry from nearly every single corner of the globe, and they have a truly unique history. And that's why they're one of the coolest groups of people on the planet, in my book. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Wow. What do you guys think? The fact that, so, when you think, do you know who Trevor Noah is?
Yeah, we do.
So he's mixed race and he's South African, but he's not colored. Does that make sense? There's a difference between mixed race and the colored people. And that's really mind-blowing if you think about it. Because, so mixture, his dad was Swiss and his mom is, she's a Xhosa woman, and that's mixing mixed race, right? But coloreds are, they're an ethnic group on their own. So they're a mix of the early Dutch settlers, the early European settlers, with the Khoisan people, with the Bantu people, then some of the Asian people who they brought as indentured servants with them. Mm-hmm. They're mixed as well. And then some of the Indian people as well. And then some of the, what else was it? Everything, every race you can imagine. So they have a little bit of this, a lot of that, a little bit of this, and it could be more of this, less of that, more of that, less of this, and they form their own ethnic group. So they're a multiracial group formed. So that what we'll call mixed race is too simple to describe them. They are multiracial, but in different, you know how you have the Latinos in South America, the Hispanics, where they were a mix of they're the ethnic people who were on the land, and then the Europeans came. So the first groups were like a mix of the Europeans and the natives, and then of course they brought the African people later on, and then they mixed. So you have some Latinos who are darker, some are lighter, some are more Indian looking, some are more European looking, some have curly hair, some have straighter hair. And then, of course, you brought the Indian people who came to trade. They came as servants and slaves, and then they came there and then to trade. So you have, when you say a Latino person, what does that even mean? What a Hispanic person, what does that even mean? You know, it could mean you are very, very European and some African, or European and some Native American, or you're Indian, and it's all mixed up. But they form their own ethnic group, don't they? Because they all have Spanish to bind them, because the Spanish people are the ones who, you know, who colonized them. On the other side of in Africa, you have something very similar with the coloreds. So when Tyler says going to America, she's a big star in America now. She says I'm colored, and she just broke Black America, because they don't like that word. You know, colored. You can't say that, because that was a derogatory term in America. They call Black people colored, and they're like, "Oh, are you trying to separate yourself from being Black? Are you saying you're not Black? Why would you say you're colored?" And it caused a lot of trouble in America, and she had to go talk about it over and over and over again, and some people are still very angry with her in the States for calling herself colored. But in her country, that's literally an ethnic group, colored, the coloreds, and that's what because she's. I think her mom is Blackish and her dad is Indianish. But in South Africa, she's part of the colored group. So she described herself as colored, which is, so we cannot use our own terms to describe other people, you know, or force them to describe themselves, not to describe themselves in their terms. That's in what might be derogatory in your country to some other person is a thing of pride. And the coloreds don't see themselves as a group where they should be ashamed. They're actually proud. So, but in America, if you're like proud to be mixed race, it's almost taken to be by Black Americans to say, you're not proud to be Black, you know, because of their own history. But then once again, you cannot use your history and your experiences to judge others. Like the bastards, you heard about the bastards in Namibia. They were originally considered bastards because they were half European, half Native. But they're proud to be called bastards. You know, the history, the term doesn't mean, it's not derogatory to them. I think it's fascinating. And the fact that, I mean, the audacity of the initial Europeans called them bastards when they're the ones who came over and slept with the women and had children, and you're calling them bastards. I mean, men, you guys, they sell audacity, you guys cheap.
It's not us.
It's always men. It's always. But it's one thing I've always wondered about men who father children, like during slavery, how, like in American slavery, how the white slave owners would father children and then be able to sell off those children, how they don't see those children as how you can do the disconnect mentally and emotionally. I don't think women can do that. I think only men are capable of things like that. When I hear things that I don't think, it's fascinating to me how they can disconnect like that, you know.
I mean, it happens even without multiple races, even within their own race, people still deny. So that thing is wonderful. That's another story for another day. We'll talk about that on Sparring one of these days. But the coloreds, like during apartheid, before apartheid was banned, there were 4 distinct ethnic groups in South Africa. There are the blacks, the whites, Indians, and coloreds, and it was clear. And coloreds, yes, we call them mixed race. No, they don't see. It's not mixed race. To them, that's an ethnic group, and they speak Afrikaans. And the weirdest part is that they speak Afrikaans, which is the Dutch. You know what the white South Africans speak. They speak Afrikaans because of the history, but they speak it with their own accent. So it changes, just like, you know, you have Jamaican English, Nigerian English, and all that. So that changes the language into almost their own language within the country. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I hope you guys enjoy that little slice of history. And to all colored people in South Africa,
Live your life. It's fine. We get it. Tyler, don't stop apologizing for saying you're colored. If that's what you are, that's what you are. Fine, you live in America now. You might have to choose. Or you go back to South Africa and live there, and then nobody will misunderstand you. But if you live in America, I don't know.
Or come live in Scotland.
Nobody cares. We're just Africans, you're African, and that's it. Okay, so I hope you enjoy that. I love talking about history, and I hope, you enjoyed that little slice of history. So before we go, we have some few minutes to play around, guys. So we're going to talk about African proverbs, shall we?
Yes.
We have some from Ghana this week. And why do we celebrate proverbs? Why do we talk about proverbs? Proverbs are an African way. All cultures around the world use proverbs, particularly in Africa. We use them to express ourselves, to share wisdom, to share wisdom with children, to impart knowledge, to just express ourselves, because we love. Why say things with one word when you can say them with 10? Or why answer straightforward when you can tell a parable? Why not? So we have a couple of proverbs from Ghana this week, and the first one is, 2 men in a burning house must not stop to argue. 2 men in a burning house must not stop to argue. Samson, what do you think that means?
No clue.
Come on, think about it.
2 men in a burning house must not stop to argue. I'll pass that to Mr. Barron.
Basically, 2 men, people in a dangerous situation should get themselves out of the situation before they
You have more important things to worry about. That's correct. Yeah. Correct. Priorities. All right. Yeah. The second is, it says, a child who has never traveled who says only his mother prepares tasty meals.
Interesting. Samson.
It is a child who has never traveled who says that only his mother prepares tasty meals.
It's like basically someone who's not explored a certain thing is the one that's saying, that thing is not good. But you can't really complain or give critic about that thing if you've not left what you're comfortable with.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And also you have to expand your horizons to be able to criticize others, other horizons.
Yep.
Okay. Only his mother. No. Not only your it's good to be proud of your thing, but you have to explore, you have to experience others for you to say this is the best thing or this is the thing. You have to expand your horizons to have the right to criticize other people's things. Okay. One last one for the road. Do not follow the path. Go where there is no path and begin a trail. Do not follow the path. Go where there is no path to begin a trail.
Is do not follow the path.
Go where there's no path to begin a trail.
Basically, create your own path.
Yeah. Some people do very well staying on the path well traveled and just going. That's some people's lot. And other people are people who forge new paths.
Yeah,
so that others can follow.
Don't do the normal thing that everyone else does. Or don't just follow who knows road.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say with that, it's like you don't have to you have to do things first before thinking, what could be. I mean, you could think of what the outcome could be, but start up.
Yeah.
Start up.
That's another way to look at it as well. Perfect. That's another way to look at it. Fantastic. All right, Baron. You know what we're gonna do now?
Yes.
We're gonna do our language quiz. Yeah.
Let's go. So this time we'll bring
Samson into it. Yeah. So what we do is Baron tells me to pronounce something in his language, and I ask him to pronounce something in my language or my languages. And Sam, we're going to draw you into this one today as well. Sam, you prepare something in your language as well.
We're the same language. We speak this.
I have 2. I speak
Kalabari. I have 2 as well.
What's your 2?
Edo.
Okay. So which one do you want to use?
I'll go with Edo today.
Fantastic.
I can't really speak Yoruba.
So in the room we have Ibibio, Kalabari, Yoruba, and Edo. This is going to be fun. All right. We only have 2 minutes to do this. So everybody prepare a sentence in your language of choice, and then we're going to test each other. All right, Baron, you start.
Okay, so the first will be...
Tell us the meaning.
So should I say in my language first or
so whatever English? You say, we will all translate into our languages.
Okay, so okay.
So you say it in English first.
In English first. So let's say how is school? How is school?
How is school?
Yeah, how is school?
Okay, that's easy.
So, wait, do you know it?
How is school?
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing in school? How is school? Okay.
So, basically, you could say Ufong with Abadie.
Okay. Ufong with Abadie.
Ufong with is school. So, Ufok is a house.
Ufok is house. Yeah.
With is book.
Wait.
So, Ufong with Abadie.
Ufong with Abadie.
Yes.
Okay. Something.
Ufong with.
Ufok with.
Ufok with.
Ufok is house.
Ufok
with is book.
With.
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 Put the N in it. With.
With. Ufok with.
Ufong with.
Ufong with.
You cannot elide the two together. Just elide it.
Ufong with.
Yeah, you got it.
Ufong with.
Ufok. There's a K in it. UF.
Ufok with.
Ufok with.
Ufok with.
Abadie.
Abadie.
Okay,
all right. So in Calabar, you say, so Diriwari is school, Diri is book, Wari is house. Like Yoruba Ilewe is book and house. So Diriwari. So nobody says Diriwari. So we say school. Okay. So school Kwani.
School Kwani.
School Kwani.
School Kwani.
Kwani is a question. School Kwani.
School Kwani.
Oh,
perfect.
Oh, that's just it.
Yeah, nobody says Diriwari. Nobody says, unless you're writing formally.
School Kwani.
Okay, what about you?
Do I have to say what he said?
Yeah, what he said, so we can all. How is school?
How is school?
Are you lost?
No, I know. I'm trying to figure out how to say that in Edo. How would you say how is school?
All right, teach us something else.
Something else.
Let's say you were going to say, have you eaten? In Edo is ure waine.
Ure waine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ure wae.
Urie?
Yeah.
Urie waine.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Ure waine.
Yeah. Have you had something to eat?
Okay. In my language, you say iye fite.
What language is that?
Calabar. Iye fite.
Iye fite.
Iye fite.
It's a question. Iye fite.
Iye fite.
Iye fite. I is you. Ye is something. Fite. Past tense of eating. Iye fite.
Iye fite.
Iye fite.
And you?
In mine is Amadi Ampo.
Amadi Ampo.
Amadi Ampo.
Amadi Ampo.
Say that.
I love it, Vivi. It's the best language. It's not better than Calabar. It's wonderful. Amadi Ampo. All right. And how do you say no in each language?
So in the video is
Iyo.
Iyo. you shake your head as well.
Iyo.
So that they really know.
Yo.
In my language, you say eh.
In Edo is L.
L.
Yeah, L.
Oh, wow.
L.
Okay. In Yoruba, it's Beko.
Beko.
But nobody says Beko.
Which one is Nibo?
Nibo is where?
Where?
Oh, okay.
Nibo, where? How? It's more like Nibo.
Wait, Bolonwa is where are you going?
No.
What is it?
Nibolonlo is where are you going in Yoruba? Nibolonlo.
What is Bolonwa? Bolonwa.
Ibolowa. Where are you?
Where are you?
Nibolowa.
Ibolowa.
Where are you?
Let's learn Yoruba.
You have to learn your name is Bamidele. Come on.
I need to learn Yoruba.
So Akauke, right?
Akauke, yeah.
Where are you going?
Where you going?
In Ibibio. And in my language it would be Itangamware.
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 Tangwamare.
Tanga is where. Is you. Mware, going.
Itangamware.
Yeah, very good.
Itangamware.
Itangamware.
What in Edo? Where are you going? Is Waje. Yeah.
You're very good in it.
I grew up in Edo State.
So your Yoruba is rubbish, and yet you're doing so good. That's incredible.
Oh man.
You can do both. I believe in you.
I'll try to learn Yoruba.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Very good. I love this segment, by the way. This is my new favorite segment of the show. All right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you send us your own languages, and we will try. Well, this has come to the end of Vivi's African Magazine show. Baron, thank you so much for being here. Santi, thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you guys next week with more news, history, music, language quizzes, and everything in between. To play us out, here is Igbeyawo by Orishafemi. See you next week. Bye.
Together, let no man put us on down. But God have joined together, let no man put us on down.
Music and talent are number one.